Welcome back to the channel, Crypto Millionaires. It is your host, Jordan. Today, we're going to be speaking with Volta from Pulse Oxygen. He's going to be explaining the project with us today. How are you doing, Volta?
Well, I'm glad to be here, and you said my name rightly, so that's the first step. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'm glad to be here to let your audience know about this beautiful project that we are just launching. So let's do it.
Awesome. Alrighty. So today I have a few questions for you. So let's go ahead and kick it off. The first thing I would like to ask you today about Pulse Oxygen is what are the carbon credits and what are the carbon offsets? Can you please explain this to us?
Yes, it's crazy because it's a whole new market that not too many people knows about. So the terms are frequently confused. Carbon credits and carbon offsets operate on different mechanisms. Carbon credits, also known as carbon allowances, work like permission slips for emissions. When a company buys a carbon credit, usually from the government, they gain permissions to generate a ton of CO2 emissions per year. With carbon credits, carbon revenue flows vertically from companies to regulators. Though companies who end up with excess credits can sell them to other companies that needs them. But carbon offsets flows horizontally, trading carbon's revenue between companies, not with regulators. When one company removes a unit from a carbon from a unit of carbon from the atmosphere as part of their normal business activity, they can generate a carbon offset. Other companies can purchase this carbon offset to reduce this own carbon footprint from the atmosphere. These carbon offsets are known by the name of CERS. Okay, so we have carbon credits and CERS, and that would be the difference between these two carbon credits for say.
Okay, awesome. And can you please explain to us what is the carbon marketplace? I would like to understand that a little bit more.
Yeah, perfect. So when it comes to the sale of carbon credits within the carbon marketplace, there are two significant and separate markets to choose from. One is the regulated market that, as I told you before, is for the carbon credits set by the cap and trade regulations and the regional and state levels. Okay, you are going to find those mostly on Europe, the state of California, Australia, New Zealand, and some other countries. Okay, and the other is a voluntary market where businesses and individuals buy credits of their own accord to offset their carbon emissions, the CERS, as I told you. Think it of this way, like the regulatory market is mandated, while the voluntary market is optional. And when it comes from the regulatory market, each company operates under the cap and rate program is issued a certain number of carbon credits each year. Some of these companies produce less emissions, and some of these companies produce needs to produce more than their allowance. So the number of credits it's going to depend. For example, Shell's company produce less carbon credits, less CO2 than the allowance permit them. So they will be able to sell this excess to another companies that need those carbon credits to keep producing, because probably their technologies are not ready to reduce as much carbon emissions as the government asks. So a market was born since the Kyoto Protocol was announced, because all the countries that participate on this protocol put in the agenda to start reducing every year the emissions of CO2. Okay, so on the flip side, some companies, particularly those with older and less efficient operations, as I told you, produce more emissions than the number of credits they receive each year can cover. These businesses are looking to purchase these carbon credits to offset their emissions because they must. Okay, that would be the difference between the two markets. But the most important thing you need to understand is we have two different carbon credits: the regular carbon credits and the carbon offsets or CERs, and there are two separate markets for those. So it's one works in one market and the other one works in the optional market.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Can you tell us a little bit about the REDD plus project, the Red project, by any chance?
Yeah, you can call it Red Plus project. It's okay.
Okay. Okay.
The Red Plus project is an international mechanism created by the UN to mitigate climate change and reduce global CO2 emissions, practically. Okay. The aim of the Red Plus project is to encourage developing countries to contribute to climate change mitigations efforts by reducing greenhouse gas emissions, by slowing, helling, and reversing forest loss and degradation. Okay, and increasing also the removal of greenhouse gases from the Earth's atmosphere through the conservation, management, and expansion of the forest. Okay, this is huge because it could literally be the way to accelerate the transformation to renewable energies. And this is the carbon offsets or the CERS side, as I told you. The companies, for example, let's say like a company invest on this kind of project. So this company will receive CERS or carbon offsets, and some companies will be able to buy it. It's like the government rewarding companies not to produce less CO2, but
Of course.
taking it out of the atmosphere, like putting more trees on the forest and all that kind of project. So it's very interesting if you attack directly to the problem, and the other one, it's if you want to avoid or to prevent more CO2 in the atmosphere.
Okay.
So those are the Red Plus project. Yeah.
Okay. So can you please describe to me what is the Pulse Oxygen Foundation?
Okay.
Can
Yeah. And having all that resume about this new market, our team had the brilliant idea of put all this market on the blockchain, and Pulse Oxygen rises because it wants to let people know that there is a market that the very few people know about and offers many possibilities. It's a market that grows year after year, and partly due government measures that are becoming more serious with the climate change. So every year, governments are being more serious with the reduce of carbon emission. Okay, so at the moment, this new market is within to reach of only a few. Most of them are companies, governments, and organizations, not individuals. For example, in the stock market, you will find you can invest from your own house. It's more common to find people that invest on the stock market. So, but here it's only more. There are only more companies and governments and organizations, the ones that are involved with it. So one of our purposes with Pulse Oxygen is to provide access to everyone through blockchain technology. In short, what Pulse Oxygen is going to do is to bridge the gap between the real world carbon credits market and the world of cryptocurrencies. We will manage pools of capital that invest in climate action. We ensure that your dollar creates maximum leverage to boost the transaction to a net zero emissions world. And also at Pulse Oxygen, you will be able to buy, sell, hold, invest, and also exchange real world carbon credits in a reliable and safe and sustainable way. Okay, we are going to talk soon about what's the value that carbon credits can provide you. Okay.
Okay, so I understand everything about what you guys are doing and what you're aiming for, but can you explain to me how like the tokenization process really works? I would like to understand that a little more.
Okay, and if there is anything you don't understand, just let me know, because I understand this is a complex topic too. It's a whole new
Of
market, the
course, of course.
tokenization process, and also our project. So at the beginning for me also was like I need to read a lot and start putting myself into this market
There's a lot
because
to know. Yes, very
yeah, it's
complex.
exactly. So the token is how does the tokenization process work? At the moment, we are in the sacrifice phase. So after 90 days, every person that participates in the sacrifice will be airdropped with a PO2 token. This is one of our tokens, PO2, remember it. It depends on how many points you got from the dollars you invest, the amount of PO2 you will receive after sacrifice. You will be able to trade this PO2 token with the other two tokens we have. One is the TCO2. Imagine that it's for the carbon, and the other one is TO2, oxygen. So we have PO2, TCO2, and TO2. The tokenized carbon credits are going to be back one-to-one with real carbon credits. Okay, that means that they are not going to exist in carbon credits in our platform that doesn't exist on the real market. Okay, as we explained, the production rate of the planet is directly proportional to the waste it produces, either by waste or by greenhouse gases emissions, where CO2 stands out. The project starts with the creation of the PO2 token. This token, as we explained on the website and in our channels, it's about to be issued through a sacrifice with which there will be different bonuses depending on when the investment is made. Okay, like I believe today or tomorrow is going to be the day number 30, and we are going to be finishing the bonus multiplier like for 3 times. So it's the best time to invest, and
That's important.
yeah, after these 30 days, we are going to start with the bonus multiplier for 2 times. Like if you invest now, it's going to be you will receive the double of the points you get. But now, if you invest now, you will receive a third time, like 3 times the points you got from your investment. Okay, and if you invest in the last month, you will there is not going to be a bonus multiplier. Okay.
1 second. I hope everybody heard what he just said. Very, 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 very important.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to be this stream, but check out our website because the time is clocking. You have like 1 day and a few hours left, so be
The
ready.
countdown. The countdown is real.
So let's put the things together. One PO2 is going to be approximate the same as 1,000 points. If you invest now, these 1,000 points are going to be 3,000 points. If you invest in a few days, are going to be 2,000 points. And in the last month, it's going to be only 1,000 points. But there is a thing that I'm going to explain later on the sacrifice when we take the sacrifice topic, because it's approximated, because every day after tomorrow, I guess, it's going to be 1% minus. Like, for example, today we receive 1,000 points. Tomorrow is going to be 1,000 point minus 1%. And so in doing that, we encourage people to invest sooner to get more points.
Of course, yeah. You get more rewards. That's what you get.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the best thing to do. Get in early.
Yeah. So what is PO2 needed for? Like, what is this token that we really need it for? The PO2 will be the token with which the others are bought. Okay, the other two tokens that I mentioned, like the TCO2 and the TO2, for get those, you will need PO2. That is the exchange asset with which you can enter to the pulse oxygen economy. So without PO2, you are out of the pulse oxygen economy. You need that token at least to trade or exchange or sell real carbon credits that are going to be tokenized. Okay, so in one hand we have the PO2, and imagine that I have 3 hands: PO2 in the middle, TCO2, and TO2. We have the TCO2. This token offers a scalable solution to reduce carbon emissions in all energy and industrial sectors. This would be like the carbon credits I told you, the ones that prevent carbon credits from the atmosphere, like encourage companies to produce less carbon credits, carbon emissions, sorry. The best known sectors are aviation, oil industries, and mines. TCO2 will allow all those companies to adapt their CO2, the carbon emissions, rights to their demand, and will allow them to speculate with these assets. Okay, so otherwise, it will be able to turn these PO2 tokens once the sacrifice phase ends, or this TCO2 token into TO2. So with the PO2, you will be able to buy or TCO2, like carbon credits, or TO2 that will be equal than carbon offsets for the red blood projects, as I mentioned before, the ones that take the CO2 of that already exists in the atmosphere out. To do this exchange encourages the creation of renewable energy sources. So if you, with your PO2, you decide to buy TO2 instead TCO2, you will be investing on these red plus projects. But if you rather to invest directly on the reduce of emissions that companies are producing right now at the moment, you can choose the TCO2. In summary, it will be possible to exchange these three tokens that I mentioned without a problem. But for this, it will be necessary to start from the PO2. So the sacrifice will be essential. Therefore, the creation of these digital assets allows, sorry, my camera, it's like on the bottom. When I see myself, it's like I'm looking down. I just put it up. But
no worries, you're all
these
good.
digital assets allow the entire planet to be integrated into a project that aims to adapt to the difficulties of today's consumer society, like the real problems that we have at the moment, right? So that would be how the tokenization process work. You really need to understand that first go to sacrifice, then you will get a PO2 token for the points you got from the sacrifice, and there you can choose, in that moment you can choose if you are going to hold the PO2 token to encourage and you trust that the value is going to go up, or like any other cryptocurrency, or you can choose to invest in tokenized real carbon credits or carbon offsets. Okay.
Of course. Okay. So there's a lot there to understand, and if
Yeah,
anybody,
it's a lot.
if anybody doesn't understand that, be sure you guys check out their website. As stated, there's a lot of important information there. Now, I have another question for you. Okay, are you guys backed by anything or by anyone?
Yes. I just want to mention that the last question, it was a lot of information. So as you said, Jordan, you can check out our website. Everything is explained over there. You can join our Telegram community. We are always answering questions and providing more information. And also we have a Medium channel that we post articles with more information than our Twitter channel, for example. Unfortunately, Twitter only allows 240 characters, but you can join our channels, and for sure you will understand this market.
So you're always going to be there for the community.
Exactly.
That's what you're
saying. That's the idea, because we know that it's not like any other cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin or anything. Like most people can search on Google. This is a new market for people, and also the Pulse chain that it's something new too. So
of course,
there are a lot of things to process.
Of course.
So if we are backed up by who, or right now, many companies that are dedicated to buying and selling carbon credits or carbon bonds are coming out. We are currently speaking with several whose name we cannot provide because we're still in the presentation phase. But there are also exchanges that have carbon credits or carbon bonds on their portfolio, like Robinhood, for example. So in Pulse Oxygen, we know that backed carbon bonds are essential, or carbon credits, you can call it as you want, are essential in order to build a community trust. So this is why we will back all our carbon credits one to one. We hope to be able to announce some partners to our community soon. This is really important, and there are not going to exist carbon credits in Pulse chain or blockchain from our project that are not backed up one to one with a real carbon credit. So if you decide to invest in PO2 and then you decide to trade it for a TCO2 or TO2, you will be owning a real carbon credit, like with the contract and the protocol. Okay.
Okay, makes sense. So I'm kind of curious. What's the difference between people buying the actual tokenized carbon credits versus buying the real ones?
Good question. I asked the same question to the team when I started. Obviously, you can buy carbon credits directly in the voluntary market. The difference is that there you will need a broker, and they only accept fiat currencies. They also always take part of your profits. Instead, we offer the possibility of buying them with cryptocurrencies, and we are also going to acquire them in large quantities. Therefore, this lowers the commissions a lot. As every digital asset on the blockchain, the access to our tokenized carbon credits is decentralized. Every person in the world can access to this market with us in just 2 clicks. We allow us to participate in this market safely, quickly, and anonymously. So that's the main difference.
Okay, awesome. So I have another question for you. Is what are the benefits of actually being part of the sacrifice? Now I
Yeah.
know Pulse Chain has had their sacrifice. PulseX has had their sacrifices. I've seen other projects talking about their sacrifices, but I'm kind of curious. What are the benefits of people getting into your sacrifice phase?
Okay. Yeah, something that I haven't mentioned is that we got listed on Pulse Chain official website a few weeks ago.
Wow, I
So
didn't
if you
know.
go
I did
to
not. I
the
did not know that. That's
yeah,
impressive.
if you go there, you will find us. So, and you can check all the public transactions, the liquidity, and everything. So that was a big step because since that moment, our communities is not stopping of growing. I don't know how to say, like we haven't stopped from that day. So, what are the benefits of being part of the sacrifice? Pulse Oxygen Sacrifice looks to create a group of people who look after a green and sustainable future for blockchain. So, for participating in the sacrifice, you will receive points. Anyone with these points, as I explained before, will be airdrop a free token. This token is the PO2 token I mentioned. All sacrifice participants will be held in high regard by the project for belief and support. In the first month of sacrifice, you will receive 1,000 points for every dollar sacrifice. We are finishing the first month right now. We are ending this first month. After the first month, the number of points you receive will be reduced by 1% each day. The sacrifice ends 90 days after the start of the sacrifice. You can check the how many days we have left on our official website, but it's around 60 days left. Okay. If you invest during the first 30 days, your point will be increased thanks to the bonus multipliers times 3. And during the second month, it will be times 2. So we highly recommend taking advantage of investing during the first and the second month. But apart from all this, only people who have the PO2 will be able to access to the market and buy the carbon credits with us. Obviously, once the sacrifice is over, you will be able to buy the PO2 in some exchanges, and once you have them, you will be able to access to our pool oxygen economy. but and this carbon market on the blockchain. But there is not going to be any bonus multiplier, and it will be much more expensive and difficult to acquire this PO2. After the sacrifice, a very limited amount of PO2 will be released to the market. We want PO2 to be very scarce, and we are also going to encourage their burning, linked to carbon footprints burning. So the thing is, we are not going to produce much more PO2 than the ones that been for the ones who sacrifice. Okay, so that is going to show our community that we really appreciate that for the ones that invest early, and the idea is to as I said before, like we want PO2 to be very scarce.
Okay. All right. And so what are the benefits, like investment benefits of actually getting into, say, PO2, TO2, or TCO2? What are the benefits?
Yeah. So the question would be like, why should I buy this PO2 or hold this PO2,
Yes.
TCO2 or TO2 or whatever? Pulse Oxygen investor will be rewarded with financial tools that allow them to hold green assets in their portfolios, okay, in their investment portfolios. Trade them, stake them, and obviously earn with or from them. Carbon credits or carbon bonds and shares, the carbon offsets I mentioned, prices are growing every year. Like in the 1 year ago, they grew 100%. So if you hold these tokenized carbon credits, you will be investing in your future, in your economy future, like any other investment, like holding any other asset or stock or cryptocurrency. So our platform offers 3 tokens: PO2, TCO2, and TO2. After the sacrifice phase, Pulse Oxygen is going to become a platform where you can trade, stake, hold, buy, and sell with your wallet like any other exchange. Okay. So the PO2, you get it from the points you earn on the sacrifice phase, and the TCO2 and the TO2 you get them put in your PO2. So for if you want to have or hold carbon credits or carbon offsets in our project, you will need to provide PO2 in exchange. Okay. So with the TCO2, you will be investing directly in industrial carbon credits or industrial carbon bonds. With TO2, you will be investing in projects that reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And if you don't want to buy those, you can hold and keep a PO2 as an investment for a future, like holding. Okay.
Okay. Makes sense. So I have one last question for you guys about this project. So whenever it comes to Pulse Oxygen Foundation, do you guys plan on getting an audit done or anything like that?
Yes, this is a good question because it's really important to provide trust to our community. So yes, the answer is yes. All the contracts will be audited. How you say it in English? Sorry, audited.
It would be audited or audited. Yes,
audited.
audited.
Yeah, sorry.
Close enough. It's good.
It's a hard one, like my name. Yeah, all the contracts will be audited, and this week, not this week, like the week before, the agreement with Fairy Proof has already been closed. So this is one of the most famous companies that audit this kind of projects. So we are so glad to close this agreement with them.
Alrighty. Well,
so I don't know if you have any other question. I know that this could be hard to understand from the beginning, but
there's definitely a lot for the project. But is there anything else that you would actually like to add? I mean, additionally, by any chance?
Yes, that we are the first one doing this. Like, you are not going to find anyone listed on the Pulse Chain official website that it's tokenizing real carbon credits and carbon offsets. And also like being the pioneers on this, I think is going to be huge, and this is just starting and we are growing every day. Of course we need the support of the communities. We are encourage people to ask any question they have, to follow us on the different channels. If you're on the Telegram, probably you will need to follow us on Twitter or Medium, because we are also always posting news about, not only about the project, okay, also news about the carbon credits, for example, how companies are pursuing these carbon credits. I don't know, imagine Tesla has been investing in carbon credits for years, and more of the revenue of like the year revenue, it's because of the investment Elon Musk did on the carbon credit market. So all these kind of news are being posted on our Medium channel and Twitter, and of course on our Telegram we share some of them. So we encourage people to follow us, and I will provide you the links so you can put it on the description of the video.
Of course, of
Also
course.
also the official website link and the official sacrifice website link. Okay.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Bolta. I appreciate it very much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys will leave some comments down below to the downside and tell us what did you think, or if you have any questions, like he stated, be sure to join their communities and go and check out the sacrifice phase before it is over. All right, so everybody have a beautiful day. Bolta, just want to say thank you, and you have a great day as well.
Thank you too. Thank you to Jordan, and I'm glad to be here. So thanks for the opportunity.
Well, thank you. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye.